Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 26th of November. The first important news, that is panel to look into MGNREGA efficacy. Second, states to ask center to control in reliance on surcharges. Third, SEBI notifies inclusion of mutual fund in the insider trading regulations. Fourth, India received largest share of the UK visas. And the last is an editorial securing the election commission. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purpose, do press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is panel to look into MGNREGA efficacy, something important for General Studies Paper 2. Under the subtopic, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So recently, the Ministry of Rural Development has formed a panel to revamp its only job guarantee scheme that is hope for directing more works towards country poorer region. And if you talk about MGNREGA, it has provided a lot of cushioning and support system post COVID-19. Now, if you look into the MGNREGA's part, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme or MGNREGA is in high demand in the rural area as they have emerged from the pandemic, ensuring the inflation and limited non-farm job opportunities, specifically in the rural India. The Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act was passed way back in 2005, and the scheme guaranteed 100 days unskilled work per year for every rural household as it wants. There are a lot of changes, and even for many other international organizations like World Bank and other private think tanks, they have come up with the conclusion that MGNREGA is something that has helped the rural people in getting their livelihood options. Agriculture and allied activities constitute more than 65% of the work that is taken up by the program. And currently, at present, 15.51 crore active workers are enrolled in the MGNREGA scheme. Even post COVID-19, when the recovery of economy is taking place, there are a lot of surge in the demand for the MGNREGA, and during the COVID-19, where the lockdowns were there, some work was still there. So this has also called for the huge demand in the MGNREGA. Now, the task of the panel that was formed by the ministry, the panel will have to look into the institutional mechanism part, and they will recommend some of the important options, which include the governance and administrative structure of the scheme. Second, most effective utilization of the fund with regards to MGNREGA. Just to remind you, मैंने आपके साथ डिस्कस भी किया हुआ है जिस तरह से मनरेगा की फंडिंग पिछले कुछ बजट एलोकेशंस में काफ़ी कम हुई है. सो द नंबर्स and the budget allocated for this scheme has been drastically reduced, which is again a cause of concern for many experts and stakeholders. Especially to address the poverty would be again the important recommendation that has to come from the task panel. The panel is expected to submit its report in January next year and will examine the expenditure trend across the country and identify various reasons for its variations. Now, talking about the expenditure on the job creation, government की क्या intention and how they're investing in terms of creating a job. The government expenditure on the job guarantee is among the largest social security that it spends on the budget. Although this is evidential fact that in the budget, the allocation in terms of job creation is on the higher side. But considering the length and the breadth of the country and the population is on the higher side, even to the fact that the unemployment rate in the country is highest in the 45 years, right? So to match this thing, we need more budget, and even government has a paucity of budget. The reason being it cannot come up with a lot of allocations. The center has earmarked $8.9 billion towards job creation for the fiscal year 2022 and 23. The re-evaluations of the schemes, अगर बात करें इसकी re-evaluations की, They have come up with the rural employment, and India has remained above 7% in the most current fiscal, according to the data that was there from the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. This is a private think tank that reports about the fiscal health of the economy. Now, if you look into the household and job cards for the MGNREGA, this is the data, the red in color, which give you the job card deleted, and the blue in color is the job card added. So this is for 2015-16, 16-17, and 17-18. If you see 2021, you can see the number of the job card that has been added is on a higher side. So this is only because of the reason of the COVID-19 lockdowns and pandemics, which has resulted in a lot of the surge of the job loss was on the higher side. Now, other news, that is State asks Center to control in reliance on surcharges, something important for General Studies Paper 3, under the subtopic Indian Economy and Issues Related to Planning, Mobilization, Resource Growth and Development. Several states has urged the center to control its reliance on raising the revenues through cesses and surcharges that reduce the share in the divisible pool of the state. Although center collect the entire cess and it distribute among the states, but there has been a lot of debates with the way the center is distributing the cess among the states. The states have sought a greater fiscal support to help revive the economy, and they have reiterated demand for extending the goods and services compensation period. Right now, this issues is also about the fiscal framework, the federal fiscal framework that was flagged along with the state local project wish list at consultation meeting during the Union Budget 2023 and 24. Now, some suggestions that is coming from the Tamil Nadu government. The Tamil Nadu finance minister has noted that the share of cess and surcharges has grown from 10.4% to the gross revenue to 27.6% for the central government, and even इस वजह से हुई क्या कि जो स्टेट की शेयर है वो काफ़ी कम हुई है, एंड स्टेट डू नॉट हैव एम्पल budget to come up with the welfare program for the citizen. It has deprived the states from their legitimate share of the revenues that is collected by the union government. And Tamil Nadu government has advised the union government to merge the cesses and surcharges into basic rate of the taxes so that state receive the legitimate share of the devolution, right? There are other recommendations that is coming from the Finance Commission of India when it comes to the divisible pool, and central government has its own procedures and norms and criteria to have the devolutions. And even post-COVID, the thing has changed, and it will take a due course some time, because in the recent budget, the government will also come up with some proposed changes with regards to the devolution of the cess. Now, looking into the share part, कौन सी state की contribution सबसे ज़्यादा है in terms of the taxes and that is being shared. So Maharashtra being highest side, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Gujarat, West Bengal, Rajasthan, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Haryana, and Telangana. So Center had released 17,000 crore to states on Thursday, and balance of the GST compensation for the period of April to June. Maharashtra, Karnataka, UP, Delhi, Tamil Nadu has received more than 1,000 crore each. Now, if you look into the GST taxation, the GST has become applicable from 1st July 2017 after the enactment of 101 Constitutional Amendment Act in 2016. So this was the amendment when GST was introduced in the economy, and several states has demanded the extension of goods and services compensation beyond the 5-year, which actually was ending in June 2022, right? Because of the COVID-19 and other repercussions that has in terms of the collections of the cess, the state government was not having that sufficient fund. So this demand was made because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and they have impacted the state revenues severely. India received largest share of UK visas, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is effect and policies of developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. According to the UK Home Office visa statistics, India's national continued to be the top nationality to be granted as a worker visa. अगर worker visa category की बात करें, even for the student category visas, Indian are the largest share in the UK visas. It accounted for 39% of the total visa that is issued by the United Kingdom. This is an important fact and data that you can even utilize in the mains paper, right? If you're writing a bilateral relationship between India and UK, you can utilize this. Now, this has increased at 26,490 as a compared to 2019, right? So this number basically is on a higher side. Now, visa distributions की अगर बात करें, for the student visa, there were close to 1,27,731 grants for the main applications to Indian national, which is ending in September, an increase of 93,470. This number is not important, but you have to understand the trend that is ongoing in terms of the visa distributions. India also features in the top 3 nations where the granted with the skilled worker visa for the UK. And other country that has received the visa include United States and South Africa. Apart from India, Philippines, Nigeria, and United States were the top countries with the visa-seeking national for work as well. Now, worker visas की अगर बात करें, the sharp rise in the demand for the worker visa is being explained by the post-pandemic recovery, which has settled in most of the major economy across the world. And India had received 33% of the skilled worker visa, where American national received only 6% and South Africa has received just 4%. Now, it is also a point that to be noted that the recent change in the government in United Kingdom will definitely call for an inevitable not favor, but even inclinations towards a bilateral relation, which is healthy in nature. And definitely India look forward to have a bilateral relationship which is impacting their trade and even augmenting the overall trade, and call for larger shares of the Indian involvement in terms of education, in terms of work. India come on the top skilled worker healthcare visas की अगर बात करें तो account for 36% granted under the category. Nigerian and Zimbabwean national were among the top recipient of this category of the visas. Now, if you look into data, UK favorite study destination in India, अगर बात करें Indians की, Indians are on the highest side. अगर study की बात करें, India has like 1,17,965 visas. That is followed by China, then Nigeria, Pakistan, and United States. Now, if you look into the work visa, there are 2 important categories of the visa that is being issued. पहली है study की visa and दूसरी है work visa. तो work visa और study visa में दोनों में India के numbers काफ़ी high हैं. For worker visa, this is 1,02,981, followed by Nigeria, Philippines, Zimbabwe, and United States of America. Now, migration and mobility, there's a sharp rise in the demand for the UK work-related visas that has been attributed to the post-pandemic recovery. These are the data that I've shared with you. For more reference, you can take the screenshot for a revision purposes. Now, moving to the other news, that is SEBI notified inclusion of mutual fund in the insider trading regulation, something important for general studies paper 2, that is government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. Recently, the capital market regulator, which is SEBI, Security and Exchange Board of India, has included the mutual fund houses in a stringent SEBI prohibition of insider trading regulations through the Gazette notification. Now, if we talk about the fraud that is taking place in the country, most of the highest number of the fraud and the largest share of the fraud was reported due to insider trading and the insider misinformation that was there in the market. So SEBI has taken that decision. Basically, it was decided way back in October. The meeting was held to include the mutual fund unit into the insider trading regulation. But by now, the SEBI has come up with the full-fledged regulations and the guideline, which will make this thing applicable. And the mutual fund houses, the members, the board directors will be the part of the insider trading. Now, about the regulations state that any person who is connected with the mutual fund house and comes under the position of unpublished price sensitive information shall not be permitted to trade in the mutual fund units where there either has a net asset value, which is also known as NAV. अगर आप एक mutual fund purchase करते हैं, उस value को NAV में calculate की जाती है, and that is like in share. When you buy a share, that is called one share. When you buy a mutual fund, it is called NAV, right? And that could be impacting the interest of the unit holders that may be compromised. So to control the uniformity and to bring transparency, this type of regulation has been imposed in the mutual fund houses. The SEBI has specified a list of the people who will be considered as insider and will be covered under the regulations. Now, the fund houses will have to be required to publish the mutual fund holding in their fund manager and designated people on the stock exchanges. If it is designated officers who buy or sell the unit in excess in the last disclosed portfolio, then such transactions shall have to be reported separately. An individual can have their own set of shares, right? He have to operate on it differently. But when it comes to the designated officer who is operating on the same houses, he has to disclose all the details of their portfolios. The family and the relatives of the designated people will now be classified as a designated person. And once the unpublished price sensitive information surfaces within the fund houses is there, the compliance officer will have to determine the time period with no designated employee can buy or sell the mutual fund units, right? Now about the insider trading, ये एक ऐसी टॉपिक है जो आपके मेंस के लिए काफ़ी रेलिवेंट है. यू कैन गेट अ डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन इन द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन एज वेल, सो दिस इज रेलिवेंट फॉर बोथ स्टेजेस ऑफ द एग्जामिनेशन. Now, in terms of insider trading, you can get an analysis question, and also in the part of the general studies paper 4 in the case studies, a direct question can also be framed with regards to the insider trading. So you have to understand the implications, the ethical dilemmas that are involved with the insider trading. So insider trading refers to buying, selling, and trading of the shares with other securities such as bond and stock portions of a listed companies using an unpublished price sensitive information, that is called UPSI, unpublished price sensitive information that can affect the stock prices that has not yet been disclosed. So this is something out of the box knowledge that you are sharing with any entities, right? So this is a kind of insider information that is being revealed to the marketplace for individual interest. Now, insider trading hurts the integrity of the capital market. Definitely, this does not call for a transparency and the regulation of the prices. And UPSI की अगर बात करें, that is unpublished price sensitive information, is a piece of exclusive information related to a firm, stock prices, quarterly result, acquisition deal, merger, or any kind of sensitive activities that have not been shared with the public at large. तो ये एक ऐसी इंफॉर्मेशन होती है जो कंपनी के इन हाउस लोगों तक होती है, बट ड्यू टू सम मैलाफाइड प्रैक्टिसेस और सम मैलाफाइड इंटेंशन, दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज लीक्ड आउट फॉर देयर सोल इंटरेस्ट. Now moving to the other part, that is the editorial of the day. Securing the EC, that is Election Commission, something important for General Studies Paper 2, important aspect of governance, transparency, accountability, and e-governance. So what would be looking into this editorial? So talking about the theme is autonomy and functioning of ECI, power of the ECI, issues of the appointment of ECs, recommendations of the law commissions, and the way forward. So recently, the Supreme Court has held that election commissioners should not be a yes man. This remark by the Supreme Court was there in the light of the recent appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner, which was vacant since July, and the intention of the government was in question by the Supreme Court because the appointment was made. The Supreme Court has categorically noted that it was a flashlight conditions where the appointment was made. And it's vital issues and national importance where the PIL has filed in the Supreme Court regarding the autonomy and neutrality of the Election Commission of India. Now, the Constitution intended that the election commissions should be fiscally independent and vested with the enormous power to superintend directions and control over the all election powers. The apex court has repeatedly adjudicated this power to be absolute and unquestionable. So election commission in India is a very powerful body that look into the entire conduct, functioning, and operations of the election in our country. But in the recent time, a trend has been there by the government end to compromise the power and autonomy. Now, the power of Election Commission of India. The Election Commission of India has declared that Article 324 of the Indian Constitutions to be the reservoir of all power of the Election Commission of India. There have been specific guidelines with regards to the power and functioning of the Election Commission of India that is envisaged in the Article 324 of the Indian Constitution. The apex court has repeatedly declared that free and fair elections to be part of the basic structure of Indian Constitution, which should not be compromised at any instances. Equipped with so much power and authority, it is only expected that the chief election commissioners of India should be freely independent and it should be neo-partisan. The track record of most election commission of India was exemplary and displaying the independence and neutrality with courage to stand with the government of the day, and hope that this trend will continue further, because this is an institution which has the responsibility and duty to conduct an impartial and neutral and transparent process of the election. Issues of the appointment of election commissions की बात करें, election commissioners की बात करें, the root problem lies in the flawed system of the appointment of the election commission. This is a very important topic. You can get a direct question in the mains examination with regards to the appointment of the election commissioner and chief election commissioners, and how in the present context the things has been compromised. What is the way and what is the way forward in solutions in terms of the appointment? So we'll look into that part, what was the actual suggestions that was made. Talking about the appointment, this is unilaterally dealt by the central government. पूरी तरह से यहाँ पे से जो है वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की होती है, एंड दे हैव द प्रेरोगेटिव टू डिसाइड टू whom to choose, and the only criteria the central government mentioned in its plea or in its affidavit to the Supreme Court, they have said that we have selection criteria based on the seniority. It is important to recall that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in its statement to the Constituent Assembly has said that the tenure cannot be fixed and secure tenure if there is no provision in the constitutions to prevent a fool or knave person who is likely to be under the thumb of executive. तो इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम को ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया गया था कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में कि ऐसी प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है जब एग्जीक्यूटिव के कंट्रोल में ही सारी अपॉइंटमेंट की जाएगी, देन डेफिनेटली देयर विल बी क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज एग्जीक्यूटिव कैन चूज एनीवन एज पर देयर इंटरेस्ट, राइट. So there has been a demand for the appointment through the broad-based consultation. एक broad-based consultation के through appointment की बात की गई है, which include the parliamentary scrutiny of the appointment of the Election Commission of India. So if you're writing in mains paper, आप ये points जरूर highlight करें as a way forward, that these are the things that need to be incorporated in terms of the appointment of the election commissioners or the chief election commissioners. Now the mechanism proposed is a collegium system हो जिसमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशंस एंड चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया हो, जो कि डिसाइड करे दैट whom to appoint as the election commission of India, right. The system is already operational in the appointment of central vigilance commission. अगर CVC के अपॉइंटमेंट की बात करें, ये प्रोसीजर फॉलो की जाती है. उसके अलावा CIC, that is चीफ इंफॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर, and there's a director general of CBI which goes with the same process. Then why not there should be Election Commission of India, which is again a very important constitutional body of our country. It is obvious that the possibility of allegations against the incumbent with being partition to the government, तो इस तरह से इंटेंशन है कि अगर ऐसी अपॉइंटमेंट सिर्फ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के सोल डिसीजन पे होगी, दैट विल बी अंडर द थंब ऑफ द एग्जीक्यूटिव. अपोजिशन पार्टी वुड नॉट बी एबल टू रेज फिंगर. अगर इस तरह से कॉलेजियम सिस्टम से अपॉइंटमेंट होती है तो कहीं ना कहीं अपोजिशन के पास भी कंप्लेन करने के लिए इशू नहीं होगी, एंड इवन बिकॉज द लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन इज ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व इन द सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस. तो अगर ये कॉलेजियम सिस्टम आती है जहाँ पे लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन को भी इंक्लूड किया जाए, देन इट विल बी कॉल्ड एज अ पार्शियल, something that is transparent, and that is something that is more towards the robustness of a system or any entity that is operating. Now, what was the recommendations that were there by the Law Commission of India? Law Commission ने अपने 255th report में ये कहा है that India have recommended a collegium system for the appointment of the Election Commissioner of India. This is something not coming directly out from the stakeholder, but already Law Commission of India उन्होंने recommendations भी दी हुई हैं central government को. The political experts, stakeholders, and many former chief election commissioners have supported the idea while they were in office, right? Apart from the manner of appointment, the provisions of the removal of chief election commissioners also need to be corrected. तो आप मेंस में दो क्वेश्चन एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. वन विथ रिगार्ड्स टू द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ द चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स, राइट, दैट इज कॉल्ड ECI, इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया, चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स, एंड हाउ देयर रिमूवल कैन ऑल्सो बी क्वेश्चन. दोनों चीजों में रिवैम्प करने की जरूरत है. At present, the Chief Election Commissioner is protected for being removed. Expect the impeachment which is only there for the Chief Election Commissioners. और जो बाकी के दो इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स हैं उनके लिए impeachment की कोई भी प्रोसेस नहीं है. Why? Because when Election Commission was constituted, it was only a one-man commission, right? Logically, ये extend की गई बाद में 1993 में, जहाँ पे 2 मेंबर और include किए गए थे Election Commission of India में. The recent debate is over the electoral reform in the Raj Sabha, that is with regards to the appointment of election commissioners that was debarred, and many political parties demanding the introductions of the collegium system for Election Commission of India's appointment. Now, what is the way forward? The recent questions about the election commission credibility and certainty is definitely a worrying, and you can definitely expect a question in mains. I'm not expecting a question in the prelims examination, although an analysis question of 250 marks can be expected in the mains examination. The Election Commission of India is an office who expressed the consent of the both government, power and opposition stand for the better chances for convincing the nation, and all political parties consenting the elections should have neutrality and impartiality towards the citizen of this country and towards the entire process of the election. One hopes that the Supreme Court will settle the issues as it goes, and many of the critical issues and reform need to be undertaken either by the supervision of the Supreme Court, by the collegium system, or by any committee that can look into this matter. It's a very important and sensitive issue for a country like India, which is the world's largest democracy, and the core essence of democracy is an impartial and transparent election. You can even use this fodder line in your mains paper, or even if you're writing an essay, you can utilize all these points. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. First question of the day, that is, consider the statement about the Defense Acquisition Council. It's a constitutional body. The Prime Minister of India is the chairman of this council. You have to check for the correct option, whether option A, B, C, or D, which among the following is the correct one. Second question of the day, new umbrella entity for the retail payment. Only those entities that are owned and controlled by the Indian citizen with at least 3 years of experience in the payment segment can be the promoter of NUEs. No foreign investment in allowed in NU with the existing guideline. So do check it out for the correct option, A, B, C, or D. And even you have to increase the length and breadth of the understanding when it comes to the current affair topics like NUEs and other initiatives that is taken by the government. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.